Tonight I show you. I'm the one.
Sex on screen, a staple in Hollywood and something that's been a part of Penn Badgley's entire career. From innocent Dan Humphrey in Gossip Girl.
I'm really happy to be here with you right now.
To serial killer Joe Goldberg in the Netflix thriller You.
You're a different kind of woman, love.
But not anymore. The actor making a stunning request to the show's creator.
I asked Sarah Gamble, creator of the show, can I just do no more intimacy scenes?
Badgley speaking about the ask on his podcast, Pod Crushed, when asked why audiences might notice less intimacy this season.
Like fidelity in every relationship, and especially my marriage, is important to me. And yeah, it just got to a point where I don't want to do that, you know. And and of course, before I took the show, is there a question? Do I have a career if I don't?
Badgley and his wife Domino Kirk have been married for 5 years and have a 2-year-old son together.
The only backlash that I can imagine coming from me as an intimacy coordinator is the thought that if someone is performing an intimate scene, that they are cheating on their significant other. In my opinion, I don't see that as cheating. I see that as telling a story.
Badgley's remarks re-sparking a heated debate in Hollywood about intimacy on screen and how to achieve it.
It'll be interesting to see the domino effect that it might have in Hollywood.
In You, Penn Badgley plays the protagonist serial killer Joe Goldberg.
Don't move! Oh, come on, be cool. Shut up!
The show, both violent and steamy, sending it to the top of Netflix. In a recent interview with Variety, the 36-year-old further detailing his reasons for requesting fewer risque scenes, saying that aspect of Hollywood has always been very disturbing to me, and that aspect of the job, that mercurial boundary, has always been something that I actually don't want to play with at all. Creators of the show are listening, significantly tamping down the intimate scenes this season.
No, terrible, terrible.
It's something that I really applaud and should be applauded for actors anyone to be able to change their boundaries and state exactly what it is they're comfortable with and not comfortable with anymore. And rightfully so, that showrunner said, great, what can we do instead?
As an intimacy coordinator for HBO, Alicia Rodis knows how difficult simulating sex on screen can be for actors.
It's my job as an intimacy coordinator to make the uncomfortable as comfortable as possible.
Rodis is a pioneer in this space, one of the first hired by HBO back in 2017. She's worked on shows like The Deuce and the Sex and the City reboot, and Just Like That.
An intimacy coordinator is a lot like a stunt coordinator except for intimate scenes. We're also specifying through choreography, making sure that everyone is aware of what touch is in play, what is not in play.
We first spoke with Rodis in 2019 after the Me Too movement had brought change to Hollywood and Hollywood sets.
It is good for business. On one hand, it is covering your ass. On the other hand, they realize that they're like, this is not for us, this is for the industry.
And my sense is that what made them think of it now is a hashtag movement known as Me Too Time's Up.
Absolutely.
4 years later, and the ripple effect of the Me Too movement is still being felt.
We, as an industry, I think it's our responsibility to make sure someone is safe on set and make sure that their boundaries are not being violated. So these are modesty garments.
Rhoda showed us some of the tools she uses to help actors honor their boundaries.
This is an option of a strapless brief where someone could wear this if they are simulating sex from behind and they want to have a barrier. This is also something that we use sometimes, different forms of padding or even a deflated Pilates ball that people can put between them to be able to simulate sex.
But the rise of intimacy coordinators hasn't come without controversy. Last August, Game of Thrones star Sean Bean sharing that he felt intimacy coordinators spoil the spontaneity of shooting a sex scene. And just this month, Sir Ian McKellen making these remarks to a BBC Radio 4 podcast.
But I can imagine there are situations when you have to be careful and people find it difficult to be intimate, and therefore a coordinator is just the thing. But why can't it be the director who does that? And I think the purity, really, of as few people as possible getting in the way is good.
Dame Emma Thompson firing back, responding directly to McKellen's comments on British radio station LBC.
You know, the crew will be 90% men and the women won't be on the set with you. And that's a very uncomfortable position for a young woman who's starting in the industry. It is absolutely essential that there is someone there to protect them.
Many younger actors, from Euphoria's Sydney Sweeney to Bridgerton's Phoebe Deniver to West Side Story's Rachel Zegler, praising the difference an intimacy coordinator has made for them. And it's not just female actors, but male stars as well. Last year, Sam Heughan from the steamy show Outlander described to me his work with an intimacy coordinator on set. Heughan and his on-screen partner Katrina Balfe are known for their erotic love scenes. You mentioned that there are intimacy directors on the set. Tell me what you meant by that.
You know, I actually brought on board and introduced an intimacy advisor to our set and to our producers, which has been an incredible addition. She gives us a lot more tools, it makes things a lot more comfortable, and ultimately I think the viewer is rewarded because their imagination is maybe sparked more. We don't have to see as much, but we maybe are taken on a journey.
A journey for the audience that looks very different now than it did 70 years ago.
If you remember back to the black and white sitcoms, and I Love Lucy, they couldn't even sleep in the same bed together. There were always two beds that were depicted on screen.
Sweet dreams, sleep tight.
Sleep dreams, sleep tight.
So to think that years later, we're seeing very graphic scenes depicted in Hollywood, both in television and film today.
If anything, I think that we're in sort of a golden age, that we're getting a lot of different views of what intimacy can be to different people. It should be normalized that actors can make changes into what it is they are okay with. So just being able to change their mind is something that it should always be a conversation.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.